Okay, let's try this again. I've done my 2 rows. I've done my time. See, it still tells me it's not enough. I don't understand. I feel like it's not growing at all. Okay, let's actually count these rows properly. Tin wick out of Florence makes a tobacco and bourbon candle. Ooh, that sounds sexy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so I was off. I should have had one more for 16, but even so, I mean, that's not right. I'm not actually getting 8 stitches to the inch then. I'm getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 stitches to the inch, I guess. So we'll try 18 and see what happens. I'm at 15 right now. All the yarn. Just take those guts out. Just like that. Stick them on Hansel's face. That sounds terrible. Tobacco and bourbon candle. I love a good smelling candle, but my problem with them is they never smell like that. They never make my house smell like that. Like I have to stick my nose in it to really smell it. Or, you know, put 20 candles in my house. Odorama. Odors, especially Francine's. What?
This is from polyester.
Oh, so it was called Odorama. And apparently the idea is that you have a keen sense of smell. Oh, okay. So this was for the movie Polyester. You randomly put something up on my page. And what happened was that this character had odorama, so that she had this keen sense of smell. And so John Waters designed this scratch and sniff thing. And the 10 smells on it were roses, flagellants, model airplane glue, pizza, gasoline, skunk, natural gas, new car smell, dirty shoes, and an air freshener. It's pretty cool. You can't do scents ever? Like ever? Do they give you a headache? Intense knitting continues. Will she reach her goal? Probably not. I never reach my goals. I have a lot of them, but I don't ever reach them. There's a laundry detergent. You are pulling my leg right now. There's no way there's a laundry detergent that smells like whiskey and bonfire, and that it's not in my house, and that I'm not taking baths in it 3 times a day. Could you imagine washing your work clothes in that and then going to work and they're like, have you been drinking next to a campfire? Oh, boo, rat, I'm sorry. There are certain smells out there that make me sneeze a lot and make my nose itchy. There we go. It's a little awkward because of how big this thing is getting. I'm trying to think if I have any particular smells that I wear or enjoy these days, and I can't think of anything. I like the smell of rose. Once again, old lady trapped in a 36-year-old. Am I 36?
And then some.
I'm 36. I can't ever remember how old I am. I thought I was 38 for a half second. I am not, though. I am 36. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. 1983 all the way. You know what else was born in 1983? Actually, it was born in 1982. The Thriller album. Wide General Assembly, there's a no fragrance seating area. Gretchen, that's really cool, actually. That's really awesome of them. It's kind of like when at conventions, we were just talking about this last night. Conventions have started in the past 10 years to do this thing where there are quiet rooms throughout the center that they're doing them at, so that if you feel overwhelmed or if you have an autistic child or somebody with you, or if you're a freaking vendor and you just need to get away for 10 minutes, you can go sit in a quiet room. I used them in San Diego when I was vending for TFA, and it was a lifesaver. It legit, everybody's quiet in there. You go in, there's like lots of people sitting on the floor with their head between their legs, that type of thing. You just get a little overexcited. Speaking of comic book conventions, Rose City Comic Con's coming up, TK.
Yeah.
End of September. Well, around September. I don't remember the last time we went to that. So, Portland used to have a bunch of comic conventions in the last decade. And I think they combined, what did they combine?
Okay.
They combined Stumptown.
Combined it?
I know. I said it and I went, shit. They put Stumptown and Rose City Comic Con together, and then they still do WizCon, don't they? But WizCon's weird because WizCon is not, it's not Portland based. It's a traveling convention, I guess is a good way to put it. Like it goes from city to city. We're all churchy with 3,000 people. Holy moly. Well, Gretchen, you should come to Portland and go to one of the comic conventions. They're a hoot. You can also go to Seattle. They do Emerald City Comic Con, and that, last time I went to that was, I don't even know. TK and I went to, I think that was our first getaway together, was Emerald City Comic Con. We had crepes. They were delicious. No, KomoriCon I think still happens. I think it happens in Vancouver. Last time I went to KomoriCon was in Vancouver, Washington. I don't know if they would have tried. I mean, I feel like it's the same audience to a degree, but you do have some hard lines there of different types of interests. You missed your chance to go to Portland last year. The General Assembly was there, but you had your honeymoon instead. You know, I think that's probably, I think you probably chose the right thing. Honeymoon over traveling to Portland for a General Assembly. Good choice. You are just joining us. We are working on the Mira sweater, which it's a commissioned piece. I've actually made it before for the same woman. She wanted it in a different color. And I'm working on the edging right now, the rib edge at the bottom. You've never been to a convention? You know, I bet there's probably one in your city or state somewhere, even if it's just a little one. If you like comics, I recommend checking it out. They're a lot of fun. They can be a lot of fun, at least. Adena, good luck with getting the 6-year-old to bed. Thank you for stopping by. It's good talking to you tonight. I'm trying to think of when my first convention was. I wasn't that young, actually. I think my first convention might have been in my 20s, which is weird because I have very nerdy parents, but I don't think they ever went to things like that. They were not extroverts in that sense. Jet City Comic Con show in Tacoma. See?
Oh, I hear good things.
TK says he hears really good things about that one. When is it, Rat? Okay. I need some more water. Your 4-year-old responded with, you bet your ass I do. Oh my God. I think I would feel a mix of pride, amusement, and just complete mortification. Is that a word? Did I just make up another one? October 26th through the 27th. TK, you want to go to Tacoma in October for a day trip? I mean, we will be in Seattle in November, let's be honest.
I'm going to South King County. I'm going to the Renton Sizzler.
Gretchen, you've been to a few cons? Oh my gosh. Another in Atlantic City, and a few really small ones. Do you prefer the big ones or the small ones, the little indie ones that are done, you know, through there? Thank you so much for the follow, Brigid May.
Bridget?
I don't know if it's is it, well, you can't answer my question if it's Bridget or Brigid. But thank you for the follow. Either way, we really appreciate it. You actually earn Boss Kitty Bucks for your follow. If you type !points, I think, it'll tell you how many bucks you have. It is Bridget, you were right. So local is better. I agree that local is better. But as far as the vibe goes, do you have a preference? Like, San Diego Comic-Con was really amazing as an experience. I don't know if I would ever go back, you know, spend the money to go back or anything like that. The after parties were really cool, but the show itself, there were so many people jam-packed in there, you couldn't really enjoy anything. And the heartbreaking part was that the Artists Alley, where all the comic book artists are, nobody was in there. They were all in the other side watching everything about the movies and the television shows coming out and the video games. Like, the comic part of this comic convention had been all but forgotten. It was very sad. You used to hang around the common areas. It's Coricon just to see the... Yeah, seriously, the costumes are the best part. I absolutely blame media for that. You are not wrong. It's really frustrating. Now we're using a pencil to do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. One more row and we'll be at 18 and maybe 2 inches. You've never gone to San Diego Comic-Con? I don't think you're really missing much. Like I said, it was a great experience to have. The after parties were insane. We had a friend there who, well, he's not really a friend anymore, but that's a different story. But so there's all these after parties at San Diego, and if you're a vendor and you know the right people, you get to go to them, blah, blah, blah. So the first 2 or 3 nights I went to all of them. I was exhausted because I was working 12-hour days basically with very little break. And then immediately taking a shower, getting dressed, and going to these after parties. So our friend asked, he's like, hey, we're having this party over at the Hard Rock Cafe in the hotel. You should come. And I didn't. I slept that night because I was so tired. Apparently, nobody showed up for their party because there was a bigger party going on across the hallway. Except for all of a sudden, Peter Dinklage came into the room and looked around and went straight out to the balcony and puked over the side of the balcony and then left. And then he came back and looked at them all, apologized, and said, do you guys want to go to a real party? And took them to the party across the hallway. And he has pictures of himself with Peter Dinklage curled up on his lap, drunk and passed out. And this is really cool. This is actually from one of TK's... Is this one of the first ones you went to?
83.
So this was from June of 1983, the year I was born. And this is a fantasy fair or Comic-Con basically that he went to in Dallas, Texas. Part of it has been cut out. But this is really cool. Like, film times, they have 20 million miles to Earth, Tarzan and his mate, Undersea Kingdom. I'm really afraid to turn the pages on this. Are these all the things you found? Did you do the scavenger hunt?
Yep.
That's cool. Yeah, he's also got a book somewhere with a bunch of pictures that he had people draw for him. Because back then you could get that done. Oh, look, Carrie Gamble signed it. You could have people draw stuff and you didn't have to pay for it. They doodled. They liked to doodle.
A couple other signatures.
Gil Kane. I'm looking. You got Frank Miller's signature. That's cool. Look, you guys. George R.R. Martin. Back in the 80s. Please, let me hold this up and show this to people. It's the same damn hat. TK is 15 years older than I am. He will be 51 on Sunday, you guys. Happy birthday, TK. I can't believe you have that Frank Miller signature. That's crazy.
John Burns?
I didn't see that.
That was my LCS.
Look at this. I would like to see the following people appear as guests. Jack Kirby, Mike Grell, and Mike Golden. Those are who you wanted to see as guests. This is really cool. I shouldn't continue to sit here and just go through it. But I'm mesmerized by this whole thing. Anyway, so yeah, he went to a bunch of these. I know, because I've got all the stuff around my house. Perfect. The same hat, right? It is the same hat. That hat apparently is 36 years old. Your husband is 8 years older and you are making a comment to one of his college friends at your reception. Friend didn't know that you were younger, so they were talking about college. I was like, oh, I was jailbait back then. Haha. Yes. When TK's parents found out my age, I thought his mom was going to have a heart attack. I mean, they're cool with it now. I don't think they figured out how old I was until my birthday, because I spent it with his family that year. And my mother-in-law asked, she's like, well, how old are you? I was like, oh, I'm 28 this year. You're what? She's in her 20s? It's great. I think they assumed I was older, which I don't know how to take that because I have such a young, beautiful, no, I'm kidding. She assumed I was older. Gretchel, that's awesome. So between the two of you, there's 16 years. See, it works out. Between you and K and P. You know what's weird though is that TK and I don't notice the age difference except for when we're talking about pop culture or music. That's the only time that really ever becomes, I guess, not even just pop culture. There are things in history that he knows a lot about because either he was old enough when it happened to remember it. Okay, here's a perfect example. So the Challenger explosion, I didn't know anything about that until a few years ago. Like, vaguely I knew of something, but I didn't realize it was called the Challenger. And he was dumbfounded by that, but I had to explain to him that I was born in a point where I would not have remembered it because I think it happened in 82 and I was born in 83, but it was such a current event that it wasn't something that was discussed when I was in school because it had just happened in the last decade. So weird stuff like that. Or maybe it was discussed while I wasn't in class that day. Probably. It was 86. There you go. So yeah, I was 4. Not even. I was 2. I was 2. 3. I was 3. I need to learn math. Math is good. It was 6 days after you were born. Yeah, Rat. Like, seriously. Is it something that you guys learned about in school? Like, there's just weird hiccups in history where it's too current to learn about in school, but you're too young to remember it later. But you were born in 84. KP, exactly. You were born the same year my brother was born. The ship in Space Cases was named after the teacher who... Oh, that's kind of cool. Banana, you were 14 when that happened? Well, there you go. You're pretty close to TK's age then. Okay, how old were you when that happened? If it was in 86, you would have been...
18.
16, 17. Yeah, 18. So you probably didn't see it happen in school. What is Space Cases? I've never heard of this show. Do tell. I'm intrigued. Okay, I think this is row 18, you guys. I'm so excited. It better be 2 inches. Be 2 inches. Okay. It looks like 2 inches, right? Yes, maybe, please. Oh my gosh, it's more than 2 inches. Well, who cares? Oh no, it's perfectly. It's just 2 inches. Yes. Okay. So, tip. Always write rib stitch equals 18 rows, 2 inch. That way when I do the back side, if I don't remember, I have it written down somewhere. So now it's going to have me bind off, I'm guessing. I hope. Oh, you want me to do a tubular bind off. Son of a biscuit eater. Okay, give me a moment. I know it's going to be in here. Leaving a very long tail. Oh, look at that. I need a tapestry needle. You guys are going to watch me do a tubular bind off. Tubular. That's pretty cool. I've really been tempted to put a little ruler right here on my finger. And I think it's a bad idea. What are you doing? No. No. Here, you can have one of these instead. Have a gummy. Have a gummy. Hi, kitty cat. You ungrateful cat. It's supposed to have a really, really long tail. I'm gonna go with... That's long. That's long enough. Sally Ride was the first U.S. woman in space. She had rainbow hair. Oh, we're talking about that show. Just the woman who played Kaylee. Oh, in Firefly. That's cool. Nickelodeon show that aired between 96 and 98. That's probably why I've never seen it. Okay, you guys are gonna have to bear with me because it's been a very long time since I've done this type of bind off. And I have to remember how to do it. What does the pattern say? It says to do stuff. That's what it says. Leave a very long tail. Insert tapestry needle purlwise into the first knit loop on the knitting needle. So just like this, purlwise. Draw through, then wrap around the side of the fabric. Oh, I think I did too much tail. Because now I've got a mess. Shit. Hold on, guys. I made a mess. We have a new client coming over for a week. His name is Scout, and he's... Oh, that's awesome, Gretel. I love the name Scout. So do you sit animals, or do you foster them? How does it work? Guys, this is like a spider web of crazy. I really do think I went overboard with the extra tail. Okay. Let's see now. There's that. Where's the end of it? Oh, this is the end of it. Burp. Okay, so you're supposed to pull it through. Pull it all through. Okay, so I pulled it through, and then it says to draw through, then wrap around the side of fabric, not over the needle to the back. So you don't want to come over the top. You want to go around to the back from the side right here. From the back, insert tapestry needle knitwise into the first purl loop. Second loop on knitting needle. Oh. Hold on. I think I screwed it up. This is very confusing if you can't tell. Not recommended. But I'll figure it out. You the No Doubt song Spiderweb. That's exactly what was in my brain, actually. No, I didn't mean house sit. I meant, you work with animals, right? That's what I meant. So I guess that's what I meant, is sit the animals. So you board them, walk, and visit. That's really cool. What a great job to have. There we go. I mean, especially because you have so many animals out there that have separation anxiety issues, so having somebody there that can help them out and understands is really great. Okay, so I think they're saying it as if I was on the other side, and I'm not. So I think the first thing is actually going to be through this as if I'm knitting. This is not a purl stitch. This is actually a knit stitch. Or I mean, this is the purl stitch, blah, blah, blah. I know what I'm trying to say. From the back, insert tapestry needle knitwise in the first pulse loop and draw through. Insert tapestry needle first. Okay, so yeah. And then we'll do the purl-wise one. Like so. I have no idea if I'm doing this right. But we're about to find out. Okay. Insert tapestry needle into the first loop knitwise. Slip loop off knitting needle and onto. You know what? I don't want to do tubular bind off. You know what I want to do? The extra stretchy bind off. And this bind off can suck it. I think that's fair, don't you? So let's get this out of here. Because they want me to end on the other side in order to do this bind off based off of what the instructions say. And I'm not down for that today. I'm just not feeling it. I love you. You can get the free shipping code with your points. We try. We try to give some decent incentives as well as the fun, silly ones you can do on the show. There are actually a handful of 20 and 30% off coupons as well, but they are limited. I think there's only a certain amount of each one. So we're going to get rid of the tapestry needle. Maybe. There we go. And we're just going to do a stretchy bind off. And I'll show you guys how to do that. There's a lot of different ways to do stretchy bind offs. Yep, you can do the reroll with the D20 for sure. I love rolling Blinky, so anytime anybody buys that, I get really excited. Okay, so if you guys don't know how to do stretchy bind off, this will be great for you. An extra stretchy bind off is great when you're doing a rib stitch, because what it means is the whole point of rib stitch is it's stretchy, right? So, you know, it pulls over things and it comes in and goes out like an accordion. The problem is that when people bind off, usually they do a basic bind off and you end up not being able to stretch this out at all because you run out of the bind off yarn. There's not enough material there. Gretchel, that's so, what? What? So what happens? It decreases for this shawl. It's not done in an instant like my brain wants it. That's how I feel, P&P. If it's not done now, I'm pissed. So what you do for a stretchy bind off is you want to continue to knit in the pattern. So this is a purl stitch. I'm going to purl one stitch. I'm going to knit the next stitch like I normally would, right? Now I'm going to take both stitches, put them back on my right hand or left hand needle, and I'm going to knit through the back of them like so. Now I'm going to purl the next stitch, put both stitches on my needle, knit through the back of them. And what I'm doing that way is I'm creating an additional piece of fabric with this yarn. So it gives it some extra fabric to be able to be super stretchy. And it's much easier than a tubular cast off. And she won't be able to tell the difference. You're a happy hooker, but I don't believe that you don't know anything about knitting. You know that I'm using knitting needles and not sticks. You know how yarn works. And I'll be honest, the crocheters that I have taught how to knit pick it up faster than anybody else does, because you guys already have the hand-eye coordination as well as the repetitive motion in your hands. The memory's already there. And I find that most people who crochet and then learn to knit continentally. They knit the way that I'm knitting. There we go. You see how much stretchier this is? Check this out. Whoop, whoop, whoop. See? You know stuff. I know very little about crochet. I know a single stitch, and I know a double crochet stitch, and I know how to crochet in the round. Sort of. Like, I know their version of magic loop. I'm slowly teaching myself. I promise someday I will do it live for you guys. Give me my stitches. Gretchen, that's a great way to look at it. Yes, where, the first few hours might be kind of confusing, but you'll get it down. Like, it's going to be something that's pretty natural for you. So, confession time, I don't know how to drive a manual car. I only know how to drive an automatic. I barely know how to drive that. Y'all just wiggle a stick and string and make beautiful things appear. It's called witchcraft. I had an ex-boyfriend. Well, I have an ex-boyfriend. I had a boyfriend whose father taught him how to drive manual, like stick shift, by driving him halfway up a very steep hill, making him get out, and telling him he had to get the truck the rest of the way up the hill. By the time he got to the top, he knew how to drive a manual. How terrifying is that? That's brutal. That's like dumping your kid in a pool and going, swim, Johnny, swim. I mean, my mom kind of did that to me. We took this class when I was a baby, I guess, where you take your less than month-old baby and you blow in their face. You go, and it automatically makes the baby hold its breath, and then you dunk the baby in the water. That was my first swim class. Huzzah for witches indeed. Then she decided she didn't want to volunteer to be melted with by the and did her own thing. That's kind of how I went. I grew up, so my parents, I think, grew up in a Lutheran and a Jewish household. And they got together and decided they were pagan. And we had a little bit of everything in the house. We celebrated everything, almost. And now I just kind of do my own mix of everything, my own thing. And that's okay. Has to tell Apollo to go. I love it, Rat. So your Star Wars inspired knits are the same colorway, different fiber. Ooh. You should post a picture in Discord. having a really hard time binding these off on this size 2 needle, which is strange. But you can see this, like, it's really nice and even, and I don't know if that's, there you go, that's in focus. And it gets really stretchy. Super duper stretchy. KMP, did you dye it yourself? So, did you have somebody specially dye it for you? I wonder who my matron is. I think, yeah, that's probably, you got it. Oh, you got it from an indie dyer. So, I'm guessing, because you said that you're a little disappointed with the colors, correct? That you didn't buy them upon seeing them, like it was a blind box or a commissioned color that they did. Bridget, it's nice when things kind of just naturally fall into place like that, where you think you're searching for something for a really long time, and then you stop for a moment and you have this aha moment, and you're like, oh, it's been there the whole time. It's such a relief. It just feels so good when that happens. And colors and all that. You know why? K&P, what is the fiber for the other one? Is it a merino? Oh, yeah. So the silk doesn't take to the dye as well as merino or even the BFL does. Silk and bamboo, any plant fiber as well, bamboo, they don't take it as well. So it's going to be lighter usually, kind of a dusty color. Normally it won't be as vibrant. I think the moon is a great lady to talk to. It was really beautiful the other night. It was full and it was orange. We were eating dinner on the waterfront. It was lovely. The moon did you dirty yesterday? Oh my God, that's the best line I've ever heard. Do tell, what did the moon do to you? I have to hear this story. It's very interesting how fibers handle dye. So a superwash merino handles dye really well, and it's what you see most indie dyers use. It's what I use. And the reason it handles the dye so well, number one, merino loves to take dye anyway. Number two, you guys know when you bleach your hair and then you put dye on it, how it absorbs the color better because it's got those open pores basically. Well, fiber is hair, and superwash merino has been treated the same, not the same way as bleached hair, but it's been chemically treated and processed. That's why it's superwash. That's why you can technically put it in the washing machine. But what it also does is it opens up those pores in the fiber. It stretches them out and opens them so that they absorb dye much, much faster. So as an example, I don't have any Super Scion on me right now in superwash, but this is Super Scion in 100% merino wool. When we do this in superwash, it is actually TK. You're busy typing. I got it. I do have some. Here it is in, and you can't really tell the difference, at least not on my picture, but this is much brighter. This is a superwash than this is. So this absorbs the color much better than a natural fiber that hasn't been processed does. Pull that back. There we go. Oh, yeah, the moon did you dirty if you work in a hospital, for sure. Full moon, all the crazy. I hope you went home and you had a nice bubble bath. or a glass of wine if that's what you do. Whatever it is, I hope you were able to go home and relax a little bit. Also, mad props for being a nurse or working in a hospital. That's insane. I briefly wanted to be a nurse practitioner when I was in college. But my brain and science is not great they don't go great together. And also there's so much pressure in the medical field. Like you have to be on it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So school's coming up. You went home and struggled to get the kids back on a normal Oh no, I'm so sorry. I think that you should disappear for a day tomorrow or Sunday. Just nowhere to be seen. Right, you work at a disability nonprofit. That's amazing too, you guys. There we go. So it does curl a little bit when you do this, you can see. When I block it, I'll block it this way. I'll stretch it lengthwise instead of this way. That'll help with that curl a little bit. I really do hope I have enough yarn though, since I broke it off. I thought I was doing that tubular cast off. This curl, yeah, it's going to for sure, but I think it'll be fine, truthfully, especially since it's at the bottom. Not too terribly worried about it. Oops, there it goes. It probably is. But like I said, I don't know why. So it's weird because the pattern says, I'm sure that they wanted me to end on the other side is what it came down to, and I didn't. So I'll see how this works. If it works, great. If not, then I'll quickly undo it and do the tubular later. I don't remember which bind off I did for first one. I probably did the tubular. Have you guys ever done the tubular bind on? Holy shit, is that thing a nightmare. It's worth it though, it's so beautiful. I made TK a sweater that I have never finished. It's still being seamed together. And there's a reason for that. I'll get into that in a second. But it requires a tubular bind on. And the great thing about that is it's seam free. So you don't have an edge when you do a bind on that way. It looks like the whole thing just folds under like this. It's really beautiful. However, it takes like 7 steps and the pattern did not explain it very well. So it took me a long time to figure out. Like the Kitchener stitch of bind on or cast-ons rather. Seaming, ew. You know what? I don't mind seaming. I like a good mattress stitch. If there's not a lot of cable work or lace work that I have to be concerned about, it can actually be kind of just therapeutic. And there are definitely some sweaters out there that are more fitted that seaming is great for. His sweater, unfortunately, it's worsted weight and has a lot of cables in it. So the problem became figuring out the length of the sweater and the length of the sleeves because they get heavy. So when I even took like 2 or 3 inches off from where it was supposed to be and then blocked it very lightly. And it's still like sleeves come down past his fingers. So I've redone them, I think 3 times. I might try again. Right now it's just sitting in a naughty box, naughty bag. It's in a naughty nitty bag. You've never attempted to make a sweater? The tubular cast on? Yeah. You finished roll 2? Rat, congratulations! You get to roll your third roll. You guys, TK's giving me the 5-minute warning. If you want to get treats in, or 10-minute warning. If you want to get treats into Mittens, now's the time to do it. If you want a bad dad joke, now is the time to do it. In fact, we'll give you guys a freebie bad dad joke. Is it? Thank you. Google Speed, tell us a bad dad joke. Google Speed?
Yeah.
Hey, Google Speed, can you tell us a bad dad joke?
They say nothing rhymes with orange, but the word nothing doesn't rhyme with orange.
Oh my gosh. There you go. Just hats, blankets, and maybe a stuffed toy. You know what though? How long have you been knitting? You shouldn't say just. Those are actually all great things. Door hinge rhymes or holy shit. Door hinge and orange. I love it. You crochet and you've done it for about 10 years. I don't know how to crochet sweaters. I know it can be done. And I think that you should give yourself more credit and just try it. I bet that you've been crocheting long enough that it probably will make all sorts of sense and be fairly easy. Scarlet Pirate, she's in here frequently. She's making this really pretty summer shrug to go with her bathing suit, and she's crocheting it. It's lovely. Caster, hi, how are you? I am making a sweater. A sweater called the Mira sweater. Called the pain in my ass sweater. No, I'm kidding. And it's a commissioned piece. Just give me 1 second. I gotta get this stitch back here so I can show it to you. Snore whinge. It's a commissioned piece. It's much longer than this because it stretches out a lot. And it's done in this lovely, lovely silk and Falkland merino blend by the Dye Project, which I recommend you guys checking out. They're great. They do great stuff. There we go. The orange door hinge snore. Well, oh my gosh, I'm not saying that again. Ever. Go. Yay! And remember guys, I don't have it on me right now, but if you subscribe to the channel in the month of August, you are entered into the raffle to win the Candy Skein cross stitch kit. It comes with the pattern, it comes with the 8 of 14 point fabric, it comes with all of the floss you need, it comes with everything. Lunar, thank you so much for that follow. We really appreciate it. The constipated cat on the screen appreciates it. And you get boss bucks when you follow or subscribe with us. So you should check those out too. They're pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. I think there's free shipping too. Like some of the bigger ones are like free shipping to our website or to our yarn shop on Etsy. And 20 and 30% off your purchases. Ooh, you got an interesting roll? Put that picture in Discord. I want to see it. And if you guys are interested, we do have our Discord. You should definitely check that out as well. We're doing a Boss Kitty live knit along right now. I'm going to show it off real quickly. I worked on these the first half of the show, which is why I'm not working on them right now. So these are what we're doing for the Boss Kitty knit along. These are the Roll the Bones socks, and it's what Rat was really excited about, rolling her next set of dice. Here's the back side. And these are done in Boss Kitty Cat's Cradle Solid, in Electric Lemon, and in Sassy Pants Pink. So, lots of fun. Ooh, the socks, aren't they pretty? I've come so far with them. Deadline is September 1st. Anybody who's finished their socks, or even a sock, you'll be able to post in Discord and we will vote on our favorite pair, and that person will get a prize. Probably yarn. Did you see? Yes! Yes, the freaking dragon. Holy shit. But really, I felt like the best part of that episode was the interaction between Clay and Ford outside when they were talking about his god versus their deities, basically. Gretchel, CR is for Critical Role, which if you've never watched it, you should check it out. It's freaking awesome. It's a bunch of voice actors, and they sit around and play Dungeons and Dragons. And us fools, we watch for 4 and 5 hours at a time every Thursday evening. They are actually on Twitch as well. You should go follow them for sure. But what Rat was saying is that they faced a ancient dragon last night. It was intense. Actually, TK, it was in huts. See what I did there? Because there's a hut and not a tent. No? I thought it was hilarious.
All right.
Can you show your most recent crochet project in Discord? Yes, you can. Absolutely. And if you get it up quickly, TK can throw it up on the screen real quickly so everybody can see that. And then, yeah, sure we can. But we don't have a raid thing yet. So I think we're gonna hold off on a raid for tonight, and we will raid on Monday, you guys, as long as we have enough people in. And I promise that TK and I will work on a what is it? Like whatever it is that automatically is said when you go into a raid. I'm an old person and I don't know the verbiage. Team's gonna come back next week and be like, what did you do with my wizard? Ja he is. Sam kept adding post-its to his damn flask. They said, Ja I am. It was so great. And for some fun, they looted a stone from an NPC that they think is a luck stone, but it's cursed. Ooh, is it an intelligent cursed item or is it just a cursed item? Raid call. Thank you, Rat. Raid call. We will have a raid call by Monday. I'm writing that word down. Raid call. Just cursed. Okay, look at this. We have bound off. Right there. That's the last one, you guys. Urgh. Pull that sucker through. All the way. There we go. Boop, 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 boop. Lying in bed and at least... Oh, JB, I'm glad to hear you're feeling a little bit better. Let's trim this down a little bit because there's a lot here. Where did I put those? So, Bridget, is this your project? Because it's stunning. I love the rainbow colors. And is it a scarf or a blanket? Where'd my scissors go? It's a baby blanket. What great colors for a baby blanket. Seriously. It's beautiful. It's really vibrant, and I like the little eyelet on it. I don't know how you guys do lace for crochet. It's crazy, and I'm impressed. And not expect something to happen to You're just finishing up the purple. JB, thank you. Look at that kitty dance and all those rainbow unicorn hearts. I love them so much. Okay, you guys, I think that's it. We're gonna wrap it up for tonight. I've had a blast with you guys. This is so much better than going out to a club on a Saturday or a Friday night, rather. JB, thank you again. So, just to keep in mind, we are going to try to stream on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from now on. 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We will be here, and maybe TK will set up a show for himself at some point in time. So until next Monday, happy crafting, and we love you all.